Looks like we are ready to go live here. Thanks everybody for joining our live stream today. I'm the host of the Wellpreneur community. I'm Gio Pensino. And if you're joining us on LinkedIn, well, drop on into the comments and let me know where you're dialed in from. Where are you located today? We want to be able to hear from you, and we want to be able to really open up a dialogue in this conversation about how to enroll clients into corporate wellness programs or into uh, executive coaching. This is a very particular market, and it requires a particular process for enrolling people into these programs. And if you're a health and wellness coach and you've been having some challenges kind of breaking on into this market, well, you are in the right place, because I'm going to be pulling back the curtains here and sharing pretty much a complete system on how to do this. And let me add a couple things to the stage here, which is our welcome slide. And this is, like I said, what we're talking about. I'm going to give you a complete system on how to enroll clients in corporate wellness programs, and specifically using LinkedIn. And the strategy that I'm sharing here today is, it's not unique to LinkedIn, but if you're trying to reach corporate clients, HR directors or executives working in corporations, well, LinkedIn is where they are. And the thing that is not well known about LinkedIn is that LinkedIn is kind of starving for content. It is one of the social media platforms that's it just doesn't get the kind of content creation that that Facebook or Instagram does. But this is really where your clients are. So, like I said, I'm going to give you a complete system. And what I liken this to, this system, it's a little bit like the engine in your car. Like the engine in your car, like if you're not mechanical, it might just seem like it's just there, right? And in essence, what I think about a car is that it's really the go mechanism, right? It's really the go thing. But if the engine isn't working, you're not going anywhere. And this is the same thing with your corporate health or your health and wellness programs. If you don't have an engine for reaching out and attracting people into your world, if you don't have a system for connecting with them, you may attract them, but then connecting with them, and then finally being able to be a trusted advisor and actually enrolling them into a high ticket program. These are all kind of like the engine in a car. There's a lot of pieces in the engine in a car, and there's the centerpiece of the engine, which might be like your program itself. So you may have a great program like that's all developed, and you've been working with clients, or you've been through a transformation yourself. But there's pieces to that engine that, if they are broken, like the alternator is a really pretty small little piece of an engine. The alternator is what generates the electricity to keep the power in the battery. If that is broken, it's a pretty small piece, but if that piece is broken, you're not going anywhere. So again, this is a lot like what I'm going to introduce to you here today, which is a complete system. And it is going to start off with this first piece, which I think is the most important thing. It's very counterintuitive, but being able to believe that what you have is enormously valuable. And you have to have this, because when you go to either create content or you go to talk to a client, if that belief is not there, well, people feel that. And so I want to give you tell you a little story about, one of the tools that I use for building belief. And it comes from my personal experience. I was kind of fortunate that I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. And so I got, some really good benefits from that, but I also got some challenges and a little bit of trauma from that as well. And the trauma that I got was that I grew up like as a young person, in my family's business. We had a candy store and some restaurants and a bunch of other things. But I grew up during the energy crisis. And my parents were friggin' fanatical about turn the lights off. Damn it, get off the phone. And, we did have an air conditioner at one point, and I remember having the window open, and because I wanted to play my stereo out the window and attract some attention to myself. And my dad came over from the restaurant and he blew a cork, and he's like, shut the damn window. Well, the reason why I say this is because one of the first times that I developed belief in my ability to sell was when I was selling light bulbs as a Boy Scout. And they weren't just any light bulbs, but they were energy saving light bulbs. But they cost twice the amount of money that a regular light bulb cost. And but the thing was, they lasted twice as long. And so, kind of from that trauma, I did a little tracing back from that trauma. It just naturally made me really inclined to want to sell things that had to do with conservation. And so I sold more friggin' light bulbs than any other Boy Scout. We were selling the light bulbs in order to raise money to go on a canoe trip. And I didn't care a thing about the canoe trip, but I sold more light bulbs than anybody, like hundreds and boxes of them. But this is where you can look in your own life in order to embody the belief. And so many people coming into health and wellness have been through challenges. You've probably been through a challenge of some sort yourself, or you've helped somebody else come through a challenge. So when you look back to those things, and I actually recommend doing this as a journaling process, to maybe look back and write about the transformation that you've been through yourself, because this is the transformation that you're going to bring clients through if that's the source of it. And it'll give you that same kind of energy. Not, like I said, there may be a trauma in there, like there was for me. But that trauma kind of creates energy as well. It creates you need to learn about this thing. You really need these light bulbs. You got to have them. And that's how I was I think I was like 10 or 11 years old. And it didn't matter that I was knocking on people's doors of people I didn't know. It just didn't matter. They had to have that light bulb. So that is the first thing I say, is to do things to build your belief. The second thing is to create content. And you probably heard a little bit about this, or you're probably posting content on social media already. And if you drop on into the comments and let me know if you're posting, content on social media right now, if you're doing that, or if you're doing it on LinkedIn. I'm really curious to hear, because kind of like I was saying with the automobile, there's a nuance to it, and there's pieces and parts to it. And the principle that makes it go, it's a very small nuance, which is to add value in your posts. So I know it's a very knee-jerk reaction to social media. In a lot of ways is like a mirror, and we like to look at ourselves, and we like to have other people, comment on our posts, and it just feels good. And Facebook in particular has been designed this way. It's kind of nefarious, right? It makes us feel good when people like on our posts, on our travel posts. But those kind of posts don't do anything for attracting clients. They feel good. It's kind of like, eating candy. It's tasty, makes you feel good, but it doesn't do anything. So the principle is to add value first. And the way to do it is in this example that I'm showing right here. This is in LinkedIn right now. And this is actually in it could be a good group for some people. It's a very good group for me. It is the International Association of Wellness Professionals. So it's a giant group. I don't see the number right in front of me, but there's like thousands of people in this group. Thousands of my ideal clients. But also people are in there, like this person here. She's the administrator for this group, right? You can see this is the cool thing about LinkedIn. You can, in a glance, learn a lot about somebody. And this is why your profile is so important, because you see at the top, who is it? Oh, she's the she's the founder and the CEO. So for me, this is a person to know. And so I say this the same principle holds for you. But when it comes to what kind of content, well, so she has posted a video within her group about she calls it a sacred shift experience, which is I might question the the use of the wording a little bit. I'm sure it resonates with her, but essentially it's a really cool stress reduction um, free workshop. And so she's doing a little piece of content here. She shot a little video that's probably about 40 minutes long, 30 not 40 minutes, 30 or 40 seconds long. And it's inviting people to her workshop. And when it comes to the principle of adding value first, here is the question to ask yourself, which is what people want to know. I see a terrible spelling error. I apologize already. But what is most helpful to clients is not tips and tricks, but why is their problem happening? And so this is the thing. Like at the beginning of a client's problem journey, first of all, they often don't know what's happening. And then they go to their doctor and they find out what's happening, and then they get a pill, and then they're told, that's what we can do for you. But nobody ever tells them why it's happening. Doctors don't even know why it's happening. But you often do, right? As a health coach, like you have a deep knowledge of, why are employees disengaged? Why is that happening? People gain weight. Why does that happen? It's actually enormously simple. I've learned it myself now. It's because you're eating carbohydrates and sugar late at night, and you go to sleep, and it creates fat. It's actually a very simple thing. If you stop doing that and you do intermittent fasting, you're going to lose weight very quickly. It's very easy to do it. But the thing is, why is it happening? That's the first thing. So not offering tips, not offering demonstrations, but why it's happening, either what is happening or why it's happening. If it's low energy, maybe talk about, again, a little bit of the what. I'm talking about low energy. And the reason why it's happening is because whatever you know about that. And so create a little short piece of content around that topic, why it's happening. And now the thing is, what do we do with that content? So there's two different things you can do with the content, and they're both important. Like I said, these are both pieces of your complete system. And the first one is groups. Like joining groups where your ideal clients are located, your content will be in front of a lot of people. And so you want to think about like who your ideal clients are. And we're going to do a live case study here with Kathy Owen here. She's in the green room right now, waiting for this moment to do a case study. And we're going to dive on into this, like what's the ideal group, the who. And the difference between groups and feeds, it's a nuance, and they're both important. But the feed is the general feed. So you do want to post into the feed and on LinkedIn or other social platforms. But when it comes to high value things like what we're doing today here, a high value training program or a live stream, then you also want to post it in the groups. And so here's a couple of groups. Like I said, these are my own groups. International Association of Wellness Professionals. There's 76,000 members. Yeah, can you imagine that? That's like bigger than a football stadium for me, my ideal clients. They're not all engaged, but some of them are. And of course, LinkedIn again does a great connection. I mean, great job. It shows me some of the ideal people. Like I know this person, Renee Morefield. She's a friend, a peer. She's an executive coach herself. Very successful, actually. And then there's 28 other connections that I already, that are already either in the group or would be interested. So this is the same thing for you. And then again, just ask yourself, what does your ideal, client need to understand the problem that they're having? And that's what you want to create content around. And here's a little tip for you. That's actually a big tip. It's actually will save you and accelerate the success of your business by weeks, months, or years. What I'm about to tell you is to go on into ChatGPT and ask, what are the common problems that my client has, and name your client around this particular thing. What prevents my client from overcoming? What are the problems that get in the way of my client losing weight? What are the fears that my client has about losing weight? What gets in the way? And so you can have variations of this, and it will tell you the problems that they're having. And that's what you can create content around. And in fact, I say do that, but here's a workflow thing is copy and paste that information on into a document. So every time you create any content, you only create content based on providing some kind of information about the problem that they're having, the barriers that are in the way. And when you do that, people will be like, dang, tell me more. She's talking to me. This is what I've been looking for, answers to my problem. And that's exactly what I did here today. So I do exactly what I'm teaching here, which I know a lot of health and wellness coaches have challenges around how to break into the industry. And once you break in, here's the thing I really want to give some excitement for you about, and a vision I hold for you. Once you break into the industry, it's going to be like opening a dam. Like it may seem like nothing's happening, like the water is still, but once you open the dam just even a little bit, watch out. You better be ready, because there's going to be a lot of other clients that will come to you. And like my friend Renee Morefield, I cannot believe how little marketing she does. I've known her for many years, and it's always astounded me. I'm like, because I'm in marketing, I'm like, why don't you market? And she doesn't need to. She doesn't need to. She's got so many people reaching out for her to be a speaker, for her to be a presenter, for her to do workshops. And she works in a very similar, space that you do. She's in corporate consulting. I think she is a corporate wellness consultant, but she does it at a very strategic level. She's a very strategic thinker. So she works with those people who have to have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. So here is the next piece. If you don't have this piece, your car will not go. This would be like I don't know. This would be like the spark plugs. Like for some reason, somebody took the spark plugs out of your car, and you're like, oh, it's turning over, but nothing's happening. Well, engagement. Once you start creating posts, and then also you drop on into groups with some value add, now people are going to start, if you do it right, they're going to start engaging in your posts. And that's like somebody speaking to you. So you have to go into your posts every day, particularly if you're just breaking in, and every single one of those conversations is you have to follow them up. And this is exactly how I got the investor that started my media company, 15 years ago. One single engagement, and the engagement was, I clicked on your link, it doesn't work. And so I'm like, click it again. And then I started the conversation. And within 30 days, this person we had developed a joint venture together. She, put $30,000 into a joint bank account at a time when I really, was quite desperately needing it. but that engagement, so particularly on LinkedIn, because when somebody engages, you can see like right away who it is, and that's what I did. I was like, oh, who is this? Oh, she's the marketing director for the largest company in America that I was marketing to. I mean, it was like, whoo, you can't ask for better. But also, the other piece of engagement is that you want to start off by engaging in other people's posts. And this is a nuance to it, which is that you want to start. You saw that slide back there. I don't know if you get the reference there. Cheers was that show. It had the slogan. It's that place where everybody knows your name. Cassie, I see you get it. Thank you. I know I was afraid I'd be dating myself, but you get it. So, yeah, so when you show up in a group on a consistent basis, you start off first by engaging. So, this is a post by somebody um, around anxiety, I believe, and they're quoting, one of the greatest authorities in this area, John Kabat-Zinn, and he says, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. And I don't know if you can see my comment there, but I made a comment. Learn to surf the wave of change. Stress can be a good thing, and this is what I believe. A lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't have any stress. No, corporate executives are always going to have stress. So if you tell them that, they're going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. So some stress is good. You just need to know how to use it, and rather than being out of control with it. So the other thing about this engagement is, if you look here, there's been 59 reposts of this so far and 58 comments. And so that means that this is a very active post, and people, when they repost it, that means that my comment is traveling along with that reposting. So there's an enormous multiplier effect that happens. But like I said, there's a nuance to engaging, because I do see, some people, clients of mine, have said to me, oh, I post, but I got kicked out of the group, or I posted and somebody said, you're just trying to sell something, and that is an indication that that you're not doing it right. You want to bring value first, lift other people up is a good principle to have. And so the next piece is creating offers. And I say irresistible offers. Well, offers are the thing that happens. They are the thing, like, do you want to buy this thing? Well, what they're actually buying is you have an offer. So I teach how to create the offer-driven business, because you can have one program, but with multiple offers. And those offers can go all the way down to your free line offers, which is what we were just talking about. And that is, a free line offer would be like a live stream. And, it's not easy to put a live stream together. It takes time. But if you do it consistently, and again, you do them on the topics that people need help with, a couple of things are going to happen. First, you're just going to get better at what you do. So this is a good mindset thing to know, is that it takes effort to do a live stream. Sometimes nobody shows up. More often, what happens is that people watch the replay. So I never be concerned about, if people are showing up or not. But you're going to get better at communicating what you do, and people will watch the replay. And now you have a piece of content that you can promote. This is very important, is that now you can promote that piece of content. It's a small step offer. And that offer can be like, maybe you've got some people in your contact list, in your phone contact list, that you can message them and say, hey, you know what? I just did a live stream about how to lose 30 pounds, in 30 days. Would you like to get the link to it? Same thing in, your groups. So you've created a small step offer. That's a small step offer. The next one would be a paid small step offer. So, maybe you've got a program that's a $10,000 program, but people don't know who you are yet. So maybe you have a small step offer, maybe a workshop, maybe an initial paid session or a paid experience that includes a few sessions that are around solving a particular problem. But yeah, small step offers, and this is exactly, I just pulled this back up again because that's exactly what this woman has done. Join me for this sacred experience live online this Sunday, September 21st. It's gone past, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. And because she's the administrator, I don't know if you can see this or not, but oh yeah, you can see up here. She's got it pinned, so it's pinned to the top of her group. So when you create a live stream, again, even though it's gone by, you can pin it to the top of your own group, right? You want to create a group for your ideal clients, either on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on school, and then and this is where you can make your small step free offers, and that piece of content will live for a long time. You can even repurpose it, repurpose it over onto YouTube later. So it does take effort, like I said, and that effort is time and money. So I don't want to, I want to give voice to that because, like I said, it's no small deal to create a live stream, and it'll seem like, oh, I'm not getting any traction. But if you repurpose it, send people to it from chat posts and different things like this, it'll become the tool, the door opener. The last thing I think I'm talking about is discovery calls. And this is really where the rubber meets the road, folks. This is like, what is this? This is like the tires on your car. Your engine can be running great, everything is going good, but your tires are flat. They're not going anywhere. So a discovery call is essentially that connection between somebody has raised their hand and they've scheduled a call with you, and you want to become a trusted advisor, because nobody likes to be sold. Nobody likes to have a friggin' pitch thing. Those pitch decks that some companies that we won't name by name here today, they're completely useless because nobody wants to be sold. It's like, just stop. You want to be a trusted advisor rather than a pitch person. Like, pitches used to work before the internet, when people they didn't know much of anything about the product or service. But now most people know a lot about your product and service, and they just want to build a relationship with you and be heard. This is really what the discovery call is all about. When you have a discovery call format that helps people to feel like they are being heard, man, you're not selling at all. You are giving somebody an opportunity to express the frustration that they've been holding on to, sometimes for years. Like, nobody has understood me. I've talked to my doctor. My doctor says it's all in my head. You're the first person that I've ever talked to that said, took the time to talk to me. So it is very much a mindset shift. There is a process to it that I teach, but the mindset shift is that when you do a discovery call, it is not a sales call. And when you embody and know this, you're gonna be like, look forward to it. You're like, oh, I'm giving somebody, this is an offer. You give somebody 45 minutes of your time to talk about their problem. So everything I've been talking about here today, I'm going to teach in more depth in a workshop a week from today, next Thursday, from 12:30 to 2:30. And this is a small slice of what I teach people within my primary program called the Incubator Circle. And if you'd like to get a taste of this, this is going to be specifically focused on what we're talking about today, which is how to create content and how to engage in posts and how to do a discovery call so that you're not awkward when you're talking to somebody about a $10,000 program. And I really say that because it can seem like a lot of money when whatever the amount is. I really recommend high ticket programs, uh, but you have to be able to embody the value of what you're doing. This is what I started off talking about, being able to embody the value of what you're doing by retracing your own steps and really feeling into that and knowing that value. But anyways, if you'd like to join this workshop, just drop on into the comments workshop, and I'll send you the link to sign up for it. It's only $100 is what it is. If you sign up before next Wednesday, and then the price will go up to $200. So this will be probably the most valuable if you're trying to break on into this market. When I learned discovery call process, the process to do, high ticket discovery calls, it changed everything. And the reason why I invested the money to learn about it, I've actually invested, $2,000 to learn discovery calls from Kristen Michelson, how to do them. And you'll get to learn how to do this for a small investment, but it changed everything for me. And the reason why I did it was because just a few days before, I had met with a corporate client that was an ideal client, but I could tell that I just wasn't landing. And I was like, oh, it was so frustrating. And it was because I was selling them. I didn't have a process for doing this. So if you want to join us next Thursday, so 2 hour, give you a small taste of what we do, just drop on into the comments workshop, and then I'll reach out and send you the link to get more information about that. Now is the moment that I've been most excited about, which is to do a case study dive on in with Kathy Owens. I'm going to bring Kathy onto the stage here a little bit in just 1 second here. And what Kathy does is she helps executive men who are struggling with poor sleep and exhaustion to restore their energy and their clarity and their presence. So this is basically what Kathy does. Let me bring Kathy onto the stage here. Hey, Kathy, how you doing? Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Are you sure you're recording? Is it recording?
It is recording over on LinkedIn, which is so wonderful about LinkedIn. And it is
that's
also
awesome.
Yeah, but thanks for asking me that question, because I have done things on StreamYard before where I didn't hit the recording button. But anyways,
we all have done that. That's just something that happens, but yes.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, I'm happy to share my case study because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
So, I want to dive on into this a little bit. And let's see, I think I've got a couple kind of questions here. And this is, in many sense, might be like the block of the engine, right? And this is the niche, right? And so the niche is made up of a couple of things, the who. And so tell us a little bit about your who and how you define them, how they define themselves.
Yeah, so I found my who by just the clients that I had helped succeed in the past. And they just all happened to be C-suite executives. They were men over 55, worked with them many, many years. And that's how I just found out who my ideal client was.
So you've had success with this type of person, executive men over 55?
Yes.
Okay. Have you noticed, I'm curious, have you noticed if there's any particular industries that these folks have come from?
Yes. Construction.
Okay.
Construction, tech startups, and banking and oil and gas.
Okay. Yeah, construction is cool because a lot of people don't know, but before I did myself a career switch, I had a large company, design build company, and so I know that industry very well. And one of the things that I know about that industry is that people are very approachable, and those people are often, they are often at events themselves, learning how to be better, and they often go to training events that might even be similar things that you go to, like like I know you're in a speaking program, is that right?
Yes, I'm in Toastmasters and I'm also in a lot of community networking places. So,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, Toastmasters in particular, because um, Toastmasters takes a lot of commitment. I know it myself because I've been in it, and anybody who goes into Toastmasters, there are people that are usually up to big things because it takes a lot of effort to do that. Networking events can be kind of a mixed bag. What's been your experience with the networking?
Well, it's funny because the networking events that I go to are usually with my ideal client, just happens to be in them. And it's not like the common networking things where you have to pay, like BNI or anything like that. And then Toastmasters club members are in the same networking things. And it's kind of like I work with them and then I network with them. We all just kind of run in the same circles.
Okay. Well, what I would suggest in terms of a case study, that will help you to refine, more and more, is it sounds like you have a good vision for your person, like you've already helped these types of people. And sometimes it can be a matter of going one level up, right? Every one of us gets better at what we do. And I have one of my friends that's in one of my high ticket mastermind groups. It is a paid group, and in fact, it costs $5,000 a year to be part of it. It's not a BNI group because, right, you pay that amount of money. It's a very big commitment. So everybody in that networking group is really up to big things. Most of them are millionaires or on their way to being millionaires, or some of them are 100 millionaires. JJ Virgin is in our networking group. She just did an event here in Scottsdale, and I got to go to it because I'm in that network. And anyways, I say this because sometimes, we have to go into waters that we've never been into before, or groups that we've never been in before. And I know that feeling. It's like, oh, they're not going to know me. They're going to be so much better than I am. They got more money than I do. But I say that because, in particular, like if it's the construction industry, well, some construction companies, there is a big difference between, let's say, a $1, $2, $3 million company, which is your local, you know, lawn company. That's a successful, local company, versus a 10, 20, or $100 million company. And those are still small businesses. $100 million company is still a small business, but the owner of that company, for them to spend $10,000 to work with you over the course of a year is nothing. That's like half of one of their vacation expenditures. So that's my suggestion there. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, because I could see those connections would make a big difference just because they're and they're really easy to talk to. That doesn't bother me, and in fact, I can position myself as somebody who's going to go speak to these groups as somebody too as well, and they're going to invest in coaching.
Yeah, they already are
Yeah, they
investing.
already are.
Yeah, like everybody, I'm going to say this almost universally, like everybody in my mastermind group, they are coaches, but they also pay for coaching, including myself. Like I typically spend anywhere between $10 and $20,000 per year on training programs or coaching, and that's a universal thing for somebody who is making money at a certain level. How about let's just talk about things that might potentially be uncomfortable. How about the banking industry for you? How would you feel about hanging out with a bunch of bankers?
Well, I mean, the thing is I don't get uncomfortable in those types of situations. I can easily just talk to people, and I attribute that to all of my training and communication and leadership skills and things like that. And I'm always just myself. And I also like the book, The Charisma Myth. It helps a lot because I do power, presence, and warmth on anything that I'm working on. So I
Nice.
utilize that. I try really my best not to get intimidated.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you said that you did get intimidated, then um, that's very natural and normal. so
Yeah.
so just know that. And part of the reason why I say that about banking is banking and finance, for better or worse, is the biggest industry in America now. So stockbrokers, investment advisors, bankers, anybody dealing with money. And it's like, it's ridiculous how, I mean, I just saw what a percentage of our economy it is now. It's something like 30% of our economy right now is just basically people moving money around, finding investment tools, and some of them are super high level, like a Jamie Dimon, right? That's going to be a little hard to reach. The president of that bank, but your local bankers, your local stockbrokers, even people online, and they probably will seem very odd to you. They're probably very different, than you and I know. That's been my experience. But once you show up and you start to add value, and particularly the problem that you solve, give a statement again. What the problem is you solve?
I help them reset their energy through mind, body, and lifestyle.
Okay. Yeah, and what I say about defining the niche, or let's say clarifying the message, I say it's kind of an ongoing process. It really is, because and you can even use combinations of the word sometimes, because poor sleep is very common. A lot of people have poor sleep issues. Exhaustion could be considered a slightly different thing, exhaustion and low energy. But I could see how poor sleep and exhaustion, or poor sleep and anxiety or overwhelm. Again, I'd suggest try different combinations of that in terms of creating content, and creating that content and joining these industry groups. You should obviously go where you feel you want to be of service. And like I said, some industries they just have so much money. It's like they don't know what to do with it at all. And I am so serious about that. Like, they seriously don't. You've seen some of these shows like Wall Street and Wolf of Wall Street. They just have so much money, they don't know what to do with it. But and as partially as a result of that, they often have anxiety, poor sleep, and low energy. So they're taking drugs to keep themselves awake, and their presence, their clarity, their ability to get up in front of a boardroom and be clear and speak clearly is so important to them. Like, oftentimes millions, hundreds of millions of dollars rest on their ability to get rest, and to show up with clarity and presence. So I was going to say, one of my fellow members in my program here, she does her own version of this. It's it's nuanced what she does, and I don't even know exactly what she does. But here's what I will tell you for some for some inspiration, she charges $12,000 for a 3-day retreat here in Scottsdale. And you saw the pictures of the place where I was doing the floating sound bath. So that is that's the sanctuary. And that place costs, I think it's about $800 or $1,000 a night. So her package includes 3 nights, so it's $3,000 plus probably food, so it's probably $4,000. And then she probably brings in some massage, so maybe it's her expenses might be $5,000. But then she's got $7,000 or $6,000, $7,000 of profit that goes to her for 3 days of her time to do these things. And yeah, so that's my encouragement for you. And it is truly about showing up, like I said, in the right places. So online is one of the places. So banking, oil and gas, I know, right? Those industries are actually, local probably to you. But you don't have to be local, do you?
No, I do not.
Yeah. So anything else that would be helpful for you around these topics?
I would be interested in like specific groups. I've been joining a lot of sleep groups, but I don't think that those are where my ideal client is. I think that that's more of just the problem.
Right.
I think you're gearing it more towards the who, and that's where I need to go.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very counterintuitive. Yeah, because particularly busy people, one of the things that they don't have is they don't have a lot of time. So they're not spending a lot of time on social media. They're definitely not flicking through. I mean, not much, anyways. Everybody does it to a certain extent, but thumbing through things. But what they are doing is that they're in the groups where they're interested in things. So there'll be banking groups, and in those groups, people, and other professionals like you will, be creating content, and don't be intimidated by that, because when you see other people just like yourself in a group, it means that, that's where your ideal clients are. And even on posts, like I showed you, that one post had 58 comments on it. So, just be persistent and, notice who's commenting on your posts. And yeah, banking and finance groups. Banking and finance groups. It's the most profitable. That is exactly how my sister built a multi-million-dollar spa business, because most all of her clients were from Wall Street investment firms. She just happened to locate her business in a community in Long Island, New York, where many of these people lived. And on their way home, from work, they would come in 3, 4, 5 days a week to get a massage. $200, a massage, with a tip and everything. And then she opened one out in Vail, Colorado, in the same, like, it's all about going to the right location where they show up. So yeah, those groups, banking, finance, oil. What else did I have for you? I think I had a little list. Oh, telecommunications is probably really big in your area.
And tech startups.
Yep. Technology, data centers. So you might join groups. It's very counterintuitive, joining a data center group. And then, next level up is to actually join certain associations. And be very counterintuitive. Why would I want to join a banking association group? You're going to have to pay a fee to join it, so that might, like I said, might be a little bit next level. But then when you go to one of their events, like you show up live at one of their events, you're going to be in a room with like 150 of like really your ideal clients. And every person you talk to is going to be your ideal client, like not like a BNI or, a local networking group where it's like you got to sift through and maybe find one needle in the haystack.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
you go to an industry event like that, and they'll be like, you know, most of those people they'll be like, you know, they just have the money to invest. They've got the problem. It's really quite magical, actually. So I think that is pretty much have everything I have. And then, like I said, you know, I'll just end off in terms of the case study with you, or just, you know, recommendations is to, you know, just kind of continue to refine your wording about it. So the primary thing about the niche really is the who, like who you're talking to, so that you have what they call themselves. So maybe they call themselves executives, maybe they call themselves entrepreneurs, maybe they call themselves owners. Um, you know, and then and then the what is the problem. But then there's a little nuance of the how. And so it is helpful to have, particularly when you're creating content, a little bit of the how. They're like, oh, okay, I see this person keeps showing up. Are they one of those kind of wellness weirdos? You know, like how do you know what is it like? You know, how is the thing? And so giving a little bit of the how and the specifics, and that is in terms of how I teach. You know, the three primary elements of your program. So it's not a long and lengthy discussion of what you do and tips and tricks. It's just like, oh, there's three primary problems that I solve. Our outcome is this, and I'm, you know, my foundation is in this. Very simple, very short, like 30-second kind of thing, and it just kind of fills that point where people want to know, well, like, is this person a weirdo, or you know, do they really know what they're talking about? So. Well, I'm just going to give one more shout out for this workshop next Thursday, and I know you got a wonderful community as well, Kathy. So we'll make sure that there's a link, you know, in your community. But anybody that you may know who is in corporate health and wellness, or any kind of health and wellness, that wants to learn what we've been talking about today, how to become magnetic to the clients and become a trusted advisor, so that you're bringing value to people. People are happy to see you coming. Well, thanks so much for playing along with us today here, Kathy. So good to have you here. And for anybody else who is you know, been listening to our live stream today, thanks so much. Or you're listening to the recording to it, just drop a comment down below, workshop, and I'll send you the link to get information about that happening next Thursday. From I can't remember exactly what time. I think it's 12:30 to 2:30. It's about a 2-hour workshop, and it will be one of the most valuable things that you can do for a small investment of $100. You will learn how to do discovery calls, how to create content that is magnetic, and where to post that content. All right, appreciate y'all. I'm going to jump off, and we will see you next time we do a live stream.